During the consideration of the deal between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, the first information from Sony about the approximately release date for the console of PlayStation 6. Let me talk about this real quick. If you want to see the whole article, the link will be in the description box, alright? I want to talk about this. Remember when I said the PS5 failed? You guys know that. You guys know I made a video saying that the PS5 failed and everything like that. And some people, not a lot, but some people were like, yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah, the PS5 failed, whatever. It did. They're talking about the PlayStation 6 already. Don't tell me that, oh, no, technology is just wrapping fast. Really? So what, we're going to get 1 year of the PlayStation's lifespan, then we're going to get a new PlayStation? Is that what we're doing now? Do you want that? Do you have money to spend time on that? Idiot. Come on, man. Don't be like that. You're acting like you have the fucking money up the wazoo to get all of this shit. No, you don't. Even a celebrity that has a whole bunch of money will look at all this shit and be like, I'm not wasting my money on this shit. I could waste my money on something else that's useful. Like food, or a car, or rent money that I can save up. I could buy a new house. I could sell my house. Get a better house. That's much cheaper. If I was rich, what is there incentive to me to get the system? There is no incentive for me to get the system. And I'm not rich. I'm not a famous person. I'm like probably, yeah, my face is on YouTube, but I'm not like a fucking Kardashian and shit. Thank God I don't want to be those people. Fuck that crap. Hell no. I'm perfect just the way I am. Fine with that. But guys, like, the PS5 has failed. It's been almost 3 years since the PS5 has came out. It came out in 2020. We're in 2022. 20, 21, 22. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since the PS5 has come out. Now it's going to be 4 years. You think that's enough? I remember back in the day during the PS2 and PS3 era, there were decades until we got a new system. I'm not talking about like 20 years. It was like 15 to probably 12 years, which was fine. To me, that's perfect for a system. I hate when companies are like, oh, it's been 5 years, new system. The fuck's wrong with you? You want to kill it before it even... You want to kill it before it has anything else. Let me search up how long the PS4 has been around, actually. Because this is fucking hilarious, man. Like, let me see. When did the PS4 came out? The PS4 came out in 2013. The PS4 came out in 2013. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's enough for a system. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years. Okay, I wish it went to 10 or 12, but you know what? 8 years, that's fine. That's fine. You know, that is fine. It is. I wish you made the system last a little bit more, up to 12 years or something like that. Or 15 years. Let's look up something right here. When the PS2 came out. The PS2 came out in 2000. And then the PS3 came out in 2006. So you're talking about 6 years. 6 years. And I thought it was more than that. I literally thought the PS2 was around for more than 6 years of the lifespan of it. That just shows how much the PS2 was prominent. There were so many games on the PS2 that literally felt like the system was lasting forever. But it doesn't feel like that with the PS5. I don't have the PlayStation 5 because I just don't care for it. You tell me, is there a reason why I should get the PS5? For crying out loud, guys, they're already discussing the PS6, but also they're discussing that there are some games that they release on the PS5, but they want to put it on the PS4. There were going to be exclusive PS5 games on the PlayStation 5. Now they want to put it for the PS4. Why? Because they know it's not. They're not. People know it's not selling. Now I've talked about this before. Like I've said this before, saying that all the system is selling, but not the games. But like, apparently it's both. The system and the games are not selling because it's not, because they put it on a platform that if you get it on this platform, you can play it on this platform. So what's the point of getting a PS5? Seriously. Mostly all the PS4 games are on the PlayStation 5. So why the fuck should I get a PlayStation 5? Because better graphics? Like I give a shit. I could get a Pro. I could get a PS4 Pro. Which technically to some people that's a PS5. And in my opinion, I don't know why they decided to do the PS5 after they just released the Pro. I feel like the Pro was like an extension of it to last longer, which was fine. And then you waste more money, Sony, of having a digital PS5 and a disc reader PS5. You fucked yourselves over with that one. You really did. Because you had to counteract that of how to make. Because, guys, you guys don't understand how marketing works. You guys do realize that they need to get that money back, right? Because they wasted money on making two versions of a system. They haven't got that money back. They haven't got that return back. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad business shit. Something that Sony is most likely not telling you gamers. But the rich people that they need to talk to, they're pissed most likely. The ones that give the money and everything like that, you know, like guarantee you they're pissed off because they know the PS5 is not selling, and they just announced the PS6, like they're talking about the PlayStation 6. Well, if you were investing, if you were an investor, and you put your investment on the PS5, and then all of a sudden the company that made the PS5 is already talking about the PlayStation 6, and it's only been 4 years, that's a problem. 8 years, okay. 10 years, okay. But 4 years? 4 years. That's how you know. Again, going back, that's how you know the system failed. The system it was not like one of the Atari systems that the controller sucked and that's why the system failed. It wasn't that. It was Sony that made it fail on purpose. Most people are like, no, no, it wasn't on purpose. No, it was on purpose. It was on purpose. Are you kidding me? If it wasn't on purpose, why in the fuck you could play PS4 games on your PlayStation 5? It wasn't like that back in the. For kind of long, when I got a PS3, I can't even play my PS2 games on it. Some PlayStation 3 games did, but mine wasn't the first model, it was the second model, which is fine. But I was very close of getting that model. Because you can put USBs inside of it too, because it can open and stuff like that. My my PS3 always shows me every time I look at it because I think that little thing that can flip can flip, and it doesn't. But it looks like it can. But I'm not talking about the PS3. I could talk about the flaws of how the system looks, but that's really it. Even though the system looks nice, it does. Even the bulky one and everything like that looks nice, but I do have some problems with it a little bit. Maybe I should do a review of the PS3. I've reviewed the PS4 before on this channel, and it's one of my favorite reviews ever. Look that shit up. It's one of my favorite reviews ever. And I was thinking of remaking it because there's new stuff that Sony has been putting on the PS4 that I do not like. There's something that my brother-in-law and my friend and me have been talking about for a while. And when my brother-in-law pointed it out when we were all hanging out, I literally was looking at my friend. I'm like, this is what we were talking about, bro. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about this. Sony is purposely making their PlayStation 4s glitch out and suck with these updates that they do so you can get the PS5. Me and my friend talked about this before. And then my brother-in-law, we were hanging out with him one day, and all of a sudden, we had updates and stuff like that. And he literally said, right out of his mouth, you know what? I feel like they updated it to fuck up the system so you can get the PS5. And when he said that, I was like, bingo. Bingo. Could we be gone? Yes. But for crying out loud, man, when you have constant updates that are literally changing your system, that's for no reason, For crying out loud, me going to the trim section when I'm editing videos, I can't even press this button to fast forward all the way to the end without the system literally crashing. Oh, it because it needs to load and all that. It never did that to me. It never did that to me. It started doing stupid shit once it kept getting updates. And it never started doing that until the PS5 was coming out. Or the PS5 did come out. Sony didn't do no stupid shit to the PS4 once the PS5 came out. They started updating and doing stupid shit to their system just for you to get the PS5. And if you haven't noticed that, I don't know what to tell you. Because if one saw it, me, okay, cool. Two, okay. Three, it's definitely like that. Okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? Are we still gonna establish that shit? We still talk about that stuff, right? I was born in 93. So maybe your generation doesn't do that anymore because your generation sometimes is dumb as fuck. Seriously. Like every generation, these motherfuckers, these elites want to make you fucking dumb and dumber and dumber and dumber. More dumb than the people that lived in the fucking 80s, 70s, and 60s and 50s. Seriously. You make them look like fucking fine wine compared to what you're thinking. Seriously. The reason I say that is because everyone likes to get offended around here. And then all these motherfucking video game companies, like Square Enix, wants to fucking cater to these motherfuckers. Like that new Harvest game, it looks fun as fuck. But once I found out that, oh yeah, you could choose your own gender, which is fine, I didn't have a problem with that. But there was a reason for it. That I had a problem with. Why? Because they did it to the fact that, oh, if you like, say if I want to pick male or female, oh, I can't do that because that's offensive. That's how that game is now. You can't pick a male or female. Basically, if you pick a character that looks like a male, he's gonna look like a female because they don't want to, they don't want to basically piss off anybody. Me and my friend have always discussed this. I hate when they make these fucking characters look like chicks. That's why in the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, when I see Sora with the nth of view when he's in not Skylar Asylum, when he's in Shibuya, I don't care what you guys call it, it's Shibuya, okay? When he's in Shibuya, he has that fucking girly face, and I'm like, but when you look at Riku, he looks fine. He looks like a mature person, like he would look like. But you look at Sora, and I'm like, why do you look like a girl with a fucking man's wig, dude? So you know how sometimes people make fun of anime and Japanese video games, and they make the main male character female, you know? And it's like, oh my god, they made the male female character male, haha, that's funny, haha, it's a joke and shit like that. For some reason, these Japanese developers are looking at that and they're like, yeah, 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 I'm so progressive, not knowing that it's actually making fun of people and making fun of their own culture and making fun of how they are sometimes. But that's another story for another day. This is about the PlayStation 6. I just want to point that out though because these companies are really fucking dumb. They're really dumb. Look at Sony. At this point, we should already have a console that plays all the games. Most people might be like, that is impossible. But you know what? If we keep getting systems left and right for no fucking reason, might as well have a system that plays all the fucking games so we won't have this shit happening anymore. Can we get that? At one point, we almost did got that. Nintendo, PlayStation, anyone? I even discussed this with my friend not that long ago. Imagine playing Mario games on your PlayStation, and he's like, and I'm like, yeah, that almost was a reality, man. Almost a reality. We could be playing. I could be playing Mario Odyssey right now on my PlayStation, on my Nintendo PlayStation 4. But Nintendo, as greedy as they are, they're like, oh, Sony is going to get more of money with the disc. Yeah, no shit. That was the deal. And you broke that deal. And now Sony is your worst nightmare. You know, that still hasn't ended for Nintendo. I hope you know that. All right, Sony has always been kicking Nintendo in the ass. All right, but ever since Xbox come out, it's almost like you stay in the side Nintendo, and then Nintendo is like looking in the background while Xbox and PlayStation are fighting, and Nintendo is just this old godfather person that's like, yeah, whenever whoever wins, I guess has to fight me. But I guarantee you, Xbox is not going to win if they win. If they beat PlayStation, Xbox is not going to beat me because Xbox is not known in the is not cared about in Japan. It's almost like, oh, you're gonna make a system, you're gonna make oh, you're gonna bring Xbox to Japan? Don't, because we won't buy it. It's mostly Nintendo shit and Sony shit over there, which is fine. That's their bread and butter. But it's hilarious that they look at the Xbox and they're like, "Fuck you." Yo, it's hilarious. And I'm not a PlayStation purist. My cousin plays Xbox, and I played some games that's on the Xbox. So I'm like, I love it, especially the original Xbox, the original, not what they called Xbox One. No, fuck that shit. The original Xbox, the big, back, bulky ones. I was thinking of getting one because there are all games on there that are so good, so fucking good. That hasn't been remade at all, but has probably been re-released on the Xbox Arcade or some shit like that. So, but still, it's always good to get old consoles and look back at old video games and everything like that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been getting a whole bunch of PlayStation 1 games that I had never played before. So, but and the thing is too, with this whole thing with the PlayStation 6, you think that this is a good thing, that they just are like they're talking about it. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing that right now they're discussing, should we make a PS6? That should tell you right there. That should if that doesn't tell you this, then you I lost all hope for you. If that doesn't tell you they're trying to distract you, then I don't know what is. Why are they trying to make a PS6? Because they want you to be distracted a lot during this pandemic because they don't want you to pay attention to something that's actually happening to this planet. This is not a spiritual enlightenment video, but it needs to be said because it actually is happening. Whether you like it or fucking not, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck. It's happening whether you like it or not. So moving on, the the these companies, these people need to understand to not force things down people's throats. But they've been doing that, and that hasn't stopped. But it is going to stop. It is. It is going to stop. Just like the SJW Nazi piece of shit. You know, they still out there trying to push their agendas and shit like that, but no one doesn't pay attention to them anymore. That shit died off once it became 2019. Seriously. Everyone looked at those people that fucked up Ghostbusters 2016, those type of people. Yeah, those type of people, no one doesn't pay attention to anymore. They don't. Most people might be like, oh, but we still get, feminazis and shit like that doing this and that. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, you guys talk about them, but why you guys are talking about them? Ignore them and they will die. Don't give them the satisfaction, okay? They will look at the new Harvest game that Square Enix made and be like, cool, cool. But then they will look at Lara Croft and be like, oh, fuck her. Because she's a badass. You can't please these people. These are the type of people that don't want women to be tough and don't want men to be tough. They want everyone to be offended. And they want everyone to follow their standards. And it's just not going to be that way. It's not. It's not going to be that way. It's not. Especially, it's not going to be that way heading to 2023. I'll tell you that right now. Because in 2023, if you have that type of attitude, you're going to get dropped down a peg. Alright? Literally, you all. And I'm not talking about, oh, karma and shit. It is karma, but it's going to be physical karma that's going to probably make you hurt. Like, hurt. It could kill you. Hurt. I'm dead serious. Because no one's not going to take that shit in 2023. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not taking that shit. If I'm not taking that shit, so isn't the planet. And so isn't other people. People like me that feel this way are not going to take that shit in 2023. We don't even take it right now. So what do you expect? My generation that's from the 80s and 90s, we're not taking this shit anymore. Okay? That's why some people like me are making our own video games. It might not see the light of day for some people, but if we make our own video games and if we make our own video games and we just stick to them and keep making our own ones, we don't have to buy none of these systems, guys. RPG Maker, despite how you guys feel about it, there's other engines, obviously. But for example, RPG Maker, what's the point of buying new games if you can just make the game your own? And then you don't have to ship it to nobody because obviously it's RPG Maker. But then you could just keep it for yourself and share it with your friends. Be like, hey, play this game. Play it and tell me how you feel about it. And if they like it, if multiple people like it, that's how you know your game is successful. You don't have to ship it out or anything or put it online. Just pass it around to people. And if they say, hey, put it online for people to play, then you should do it for free. You know? And eventually down the line, if you want people to pay for your shit, then people are willing to do it. Because people will be like, dude, you should get paid for this. I want to pay for this shit. I don't want it for free. There are people that are like that. They are. Because people are willing to give you the money for your effort and time of what you did. And that's more than I can say for some companies out here. Some companies out here will look at your shit and change the whole thing. Disney, Sony, Square. You guys will look at properties and completely change them. And they want to call them remakes and reboots or sequels, which no one didn't ask for. No one didn't care for. Who asked for the PlayStation 6? Who asked for the PS5, to be quite honest with you? I didn't ask for the PS5. I felt like the PS4 could have kept going a little bit. But you know, oh, it's been 8 years, so let's drop it dead. Okay, but it's still living on, to be quite honest. It is. It's just like it's just like the Atari system. Seriously, remember that Atari system? I forgot what it's called. I think it was the 7800. I could be gone. But one of the Atari systems, the controller was fucked. And that's what killed the system. So guess what? The Atari 2600 still lived on even through the 80s and 90s. That is a long decade for a system to keep going. Yeah, the games might have stopped, but people still kept playing them. And people made their own games for the Atari 2600. And there was still a little bit of games that were coming out, not completely, but people were finding games left and right that were like, holy shit, you know? So there were some Atari games coming out, but it wasn't oh yeah, Atari's still making these games. No, it was just things that were already there that people didn't find yet. You know, it was something like that. At least from what I noticed. So that's just me from what I noticed. From like the 80s and 90s, people look at the Atari 2600 and they're like, holy shit, all of this shit I didn't discover, you know? So, because in the 70s, it was so different, you know, with gaming and stuff like that because you didn't have the internet. The internet was still in its infant stage and all that stuff, but it wasn't the way it is right now, especially the way it was in the 80s and 90s, basically. You know, so maybe you could look up stuff in the 90s and be like, holy shit, well, late 90s, not early 90s. Early 90s was still like, oh, getting there, you know, but we were still getting there. I think right around 93 or 6, basically, we were good. You know, I could be wrong, but but even back then, people were doing podcasts back then on a primitive internet age. When you could do podcasts, people could have done it, and then you could just listen to it. You know, so there was so many things in that era, and the thing is too, like it was such a unique time too. And I could go more on a spiritual reason why it was like that, but I know some of you guys don't give a fuck about that, which is sad. Which is sad because you guys think that sometimes that the spirit world doesn't affect the physical, which is fucking hilarious. Because you think more. It's funny because you have some people out here that think they know more about the spirit world, but then they don't want to talk about the spirit world because they're afraid of it. Does that make sense? You think you know about the spirit world, but you're afraid of it? Motherfucker, you don't know shit. Because if you do know about it, you want to be scared of it. Idiot. The fuck's wrong with you? That's like you scared of dying. The fuck's wrong with you? Seriously, look at Sony. They're scared of certain things dying off. Why do you think they keep rebranding it? Guarantee you, the PS6 is just a rebrand of the PS5. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the PS4 Pro was actually the PS5 just made differently? Don't be surprised, to be quite honest with you. Don't be surprised. The reason I say don't be surprised is because these are companies that like to cut costs. And if they can make more money with certain things that they can not do, then they would do it. If they can cut costs while they make more money, they would do it. Okay? So, I think that's it, guys. I really think that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about this PlayStation 6 stuff. This is ridiculous, in my opinion. This is ridiculous. If you guys are looking forward to the PS6, all I have to tell you is that you're blind, you're stupid, and you shouldn't be excited for this shit. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Why the fuck are you excited for the PlayStation 6 while no one doesn't have the PS5? Oh, I have it, I have it. Good for you, you dumb piece of shit. Well, you want a trophy? Because you got the PS5? Motherfucker, go suck a fucking dick. How about that? Idiot. Trying to shock your own ego and shit because, oh, you think you're better than anybody else. The fuck, you're not better than anyone else? I'm not better than anyone else. But you think so, and that's where karma's going to kick your ass. Right? Seriously. What do you think I just said about 2023? Bring that type of fucking negative energy to 2023 and see what happens. See what happens. I guarantee you, you won't last long. You won't last long. You wouldn't. You either get your ass kicked or killed. Why? Because people don't want this shit anymore. You 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 want most people might be like, oh, but oh, that's just savagery and shit like that. No, no, you might think it's savagery, but the reason people might do it is because this type of shit that's going on, they don't want it anymore. It should not exist anymore, and it's not going to exist anymore because people just don't want it anymore. Okay, look at the Halloween series right now. I recently saw a video about the Halloween movie, the first Halloween movie, and someone did point out a good thing, saying that, look, I love the storyline between the brother and the sister. I do. I always will. But the guy pointed out that you basically stuck. He didn't say that. You between a rock and a hard place. He didn't say that, but in a way he acknowledged that was because you have Michael Myers in the first movie being a total mystery and everything like that. Then the second one is like, oh, it's his sister. Okay, the mystery is gone now, you know. But then also you put more story into him. Now he has more depth. Now he has reason to things to do, which a lot of people don't like, but other people are like, okay, cool, you know. So it's a mixed bag type thing. It really is. But in my opinion, in my whole humble opinion, when it comes to the Halloween franchise, Halloween should have just died after part one. It should have never continued. I've always saw the Halloween franchise like that. It's a one and done deal, and that's it. That's it. It's the same thing with Friday the 13th. What can you do more? You introduce the mom, and then Jason the son, and then what else? I could see more creativity happen with Freddy Krueger and Chucky than Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Because at that point, you have to take them out of their element, and you can't do that. You can't take them out of Crystal Lake. You can't take them out of Haddonfield. Because at that point, it's not their movie anymore. It's not about them anymore. Look. The, Despite how much I mixed feel with Jason X, I know when I was younger I bashed it, but as a kid I loved Jason X. As a teenager I bashed it. As an adult I'm mixed with it now. But the reason I look back at it now is because Jason Voorhees should not be in space, even though that worked for him. In my opinion, it did. It worked for him, but it shouldn't be that way. You see, There's certain type of horror icons that deserve to be in their own home, in their own established environment, and that's as far as they can go, and that's fine. But these movie executives and even the fans, sometimes me too, I'm in fault. Sometimes we want these franchises to continue without realizing that this series should have died since part one, because it's only that, part one and done. Maybe Friday the 13th could have ended in part four, which is fine too, but then it kept going. You know, with Friday the 13th, I could see it going to four and then that's it. With Halloween, one and done. One and done. Okay? Seriously. And I enjoy some of the Halloween movies. I like Halloween 6. I like Halloween 2. I like Halloween 1. I like Halloween 3. I love Halloween 4. But you have to call it the way it is, man. Michael Myers hasn't been the same since the first movie. We have to admit that. We have to call a spade a spade. I'm not saying I hate the system brother dynamic. I love that shit. But it's like the PS5. If it's almost like the PS5 and PS6. Why would you continue a series basically if you already have a better one? Now, that's totally different because you have a movie compared to a system, and a system is always updating, obviously. So there's that, like a computer. So there's that. Maybe that's not a good analogy, but hey, I'm just there's something there at least. At least I hope. Someone could probably find something in there, but it's just the way it is. That's how I feel with the Halloween series a little bit. But overall, connecting to the PS6 and the PS5, it's in a rut. Same thing with the series. With Halloween, it's in a rut. The PS, the PlayStation series has been in a rut ever since the PS4. Okay, and I love the PS4. I do. But the Sony saga, I mean the PlayStation saga, has been lacking since the PlayStation 4, and it lacked even more once the PS5 came out. So that's all I'm gonna say, guys. I'll see you guys and be safe, and tell me what you guys think down below. So, and I'll put the article in the description box too. So I'll see you and take care.